Happy WrestleMania season, and we've got some big news to start off this wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bray Wyatt has apparently hinted that he's open to returning not only to wrestling, but hinting at WWE as well. So here's the quote from Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was asked in a Q&A session on Instagram about whether he'd return to pro wrestling, whether he'd ever wrestle again. And he said, and I quote, "I will always love wrestling. I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life without stepping in the ring again and hearing that roar again. I think about it often. Everything has to be in the right place, though. Like I said, timing is everything." Now we know that Bray Wyatt, the artist now known as Windham Rotunda, was released from WWE last year. He has not wrestled in the WWE. He's not wrestled anywhere, actually, since WrestleMania 37 last year when he had that god-awful match against Randy Orton with all the red lights, and it was terrible. We don't need to joke about it. We don't need to even debate about it. It was terrible. Everyone agrees on that. And look, he is someone who, right now, he's exploring his avenues outside of wrestling. He is at WrestleCon, for those of you who are wondering. He is still doing wrestling-related events. He's not shunning the industry, obviously, but he's someone who has outside ventures right now. He is working on a horror movie. He's busy with a few different projects that he's doing. And look, Bray Wyatt, he proved it with The Fiend. He proved it with the Wyatt family. He proved it with a lot of the stuff that he has done in pro wrestling, that he is not only a creative mind, but he is just an interesting human being and such a captivating human being as far as when he speaks, the ideas that go through his brain. It's insane. Like, The Fiend, to me, is one of the biggest things that WWE has dropped the ball with in a very long time. Because, and it's not because, like, oh, they didn't have him wrestling matches. No, it had nothing to do with wrestling. He's one of the most entertaining things on Raw week in and week out. And then they just, every time he caught a little bit of momentum, they just kept on pushing him down and doing dumb stuff with him like they did at WrestleMania 37. Like, that had zero payoff because now Alexa Bliss isn't even doing the gimmick anymore. Bray Wyatt is gone. I mean, look, that's separate, though. The reason a lot of people are speculating that he could possibly return to WWE, though, is because of something Randy Orton said on the Pat McAfee show. Now, if you guys didn't see Randy Orton's interview with Pat McAfee, I highly recommend you go check it out. In the interview, Orton talks very openly about the WrestleMania 37 match that they had, that both of them hated it, both of them were frustrated, both of them regretted that it happened that way. And Randy Orton also said in that interview that at some point down the road, he hopes, and he and Bray both kind of hope, that they can right that wrong because there was so much meat on the bone left on that storyline. Like, I want everyone to remember this. The crux of that story was Randy Orton set Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, on fire. Burned him alive. And then he resurrected. And they couldn't, and like that's like one of the most sports entertaining, I guess, whatever the word is, right? Thing out there the WWE could do. It has nothing to do with wrestling. Again, it's nothing to do with kicks and flips. It's all about like entertainment, and it was going somewhere. There was a buildup of the story with Wyatt and him going after all of the people in his past who had done him wrong, whether it be John Cena, whether it be Braun Strowman, whether it be Randy Orton. Like, that was the whole story with The Fiend, and they just botched it. WWE just botched it. I hope that, I honestly hope that if Bray Wyatt does return to WWE, that whatever he's allowed to do, he's allowed to do on his own. He needs to be treated as a star. He needs to be treated as someone who has enough creative freedom and liberty to basically do what he wants. Genuinely. Because he's responsible for some of the most captivating and awesome moments and just awesome storytelling moments in WWE in a while. Like, go back and watch that Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena at WrestleMania 36. Best thing on the show, especially that night. Go back and watch... Don't watch the Hell in a Cell match, but do watch The promos, just every promo, like the Firefly Funhouse promos were so fun, so amazing. Week to week, they were one of the only things on that god awful Raw show that were actually building, and it was great. So if Bray Wyatt does return, and it sounds like he is open to returning to wrestling, whether that be in WWE, Ring of Honor, wherever, right? I hope that he gets that creative freedom and that liberty that he so much deserves. Let me know what you guys think, though. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.